It's up in your dome. It's up in your dome. Bring that shit in.
Welcome to Digging in the Dome. I'm Chris. That's Kev.
Fuck shit ass. Fuck.
This is
so Chris is really pumped that we have hit enough followers and subscriptions and downloads to be monetized on YouTube.
Yay! Way to give us money. Money.
So the rule of thumb is that if you swear in the first 60 seconds of your video, they will demonetize it immediately.
So Kevin is trying to sabotage us. Yes, Little does he know that I fucking control all the ends of this shit. You stupid motherfucker. You think that I'm not going to know that?
Her nice sweet can.
Shit. Man. Well, the good news is this is round one of Stinko de Mayo. We've made it through it. Our domies were making their voices heard on all social media platforms outside of TikTok, because I don't think you could vote there. Which
we got more participation this year than last year.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a hell of a week, man. A hell of a couple of weeks.
Kev has had a rough go. Kev went through is going currently through his first baby is sick fucking situation.
Well, first there was Kevin is sick.
Oh, Kevin. Oh yeah, you sounded like you fucking Doc Holliday, fucking Lunger over there. Was
I had a sinus infection, and the kid got me from daycare. Thank you. And then Colleen was sick, and now he's got the flu. So he's just hopefully rounding the finish line on that. Because his fever finally broke today, but
thank God for that.
He's basically inconsolable when it comes to napping and sleeping and all that stuff. So that's fun times.
Yeah.
Dude. And then Chris, and then you know, your poor wife ended up in the emergency room, dealing with some of her own not feeling well. So it's been a couple weeks. So once again, Stinko de Mayo will end after the month of May.
Yeah, probably. It's bad. Those daycares are fucking more diseased than the blankets that our founding fathers gave to the Indians.
Oh yeah.
They just literally they're horrible. I mean, it's to a degree.
Like, are these toys called pox? Does it say pox on the
pox blocks? You're like, what? Got little bumps on them. These aren't Legos because they don't fit together. No. That's disease that is popping off of your. This is disgusting. Yeah, that's not good. We did get a lot of good response on social media outside of.
I'll tell you what, surprisingly, the most interaction that we got of all the four regions, surprisingly, the one that got the most participation online was fads, which is crazy to me because, you know, you figure, you know, it's always been like either music or movies.
Yeah, because they know all that stuff. Like the problem.
But the fads, because I think it's because of the nature of fads, and a lot of people that were voting remember this stuff, coming up, and, might have like worn a fashion or rocked that hairstyle.
Or a hairstyle.
Exactly. And look back on it.
Somehow fucking decided that it was a great idea to wear fucking gigantic fucking glossy genie pants. And I was like, I'm gonna wear these outside because that's really. Can you imagine
a pair of pants that look like you ruined them?
Yeah.
I did this on purpose.
Yeah. Someone blew a load all over my jeans. Now they look fucking mostly, it looks like someone's dripping cum on them. Great. Man, I did make you think, like, cause you start to get into like the deeper into the thought process around some of these picks. And I just thought, like, do you think how ridiculous would it look if someone was trying to ride a bike with hammer pants on? Like, how hard?
Oh, it would get all caught up in like the chain.
Yeah, the gears. You're like, every 2 seconds, be like pulling it out of the chain,
suck you into it, or if you were working on a construction site or something, but you're rocking like hammer pants, you get like sucked into a fucking wood chipper.
Can you imagine if all four of the guys on that in that iconic picture on the beam where they're eating lunch all had hammer pants on?
The wind catch them, just blow them straight up in the air.
Someone gets carried away. Exactly. That's
flying squirrel style.
Yeah. So
let's get into the. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the other things that happened. Unfortunately, we'll just get it out of the way so we can move on with our misery. Is that the valiant effort of Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers was all for naught because because
no one else showed up.
Yes, and Danny Green blew his knee out.
Yeah.
James Harden decided that he was not quite ready to play yet. I guess
James Hardley, as I call him.
I like that.
Are you making sure that you're recording?
No, fuckface. I'm actually getting the wheel so we can figure out which region we're going to start with here.
Why don't you just flip a coin? Why don't you just pick one?
Does a coin have 4 fucking sides? I don't have a fucking dice.
Man.
A die, I should say.
A dice.
Right. A dice. Hey. All right. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna roll the wheel here.
Okay.
And I'll show you since we're on Zoom in. And then whatever we land on, that's what the results will start with. So here we go.
All right.
There it is. You can see the ring light in the back. That's great.
I'll tell you. It's TV.
TV.
All right.
Bracket.
So as is per the usual when we do this is the 3rd annual. So the 3rd time we're doing this. I do not know what the results are.
Yes.
I tabulate the Twitter and Instagram votes. Chris tabulates the Facebook and the brackets.
Yep.
And then we compile them together to come up with the results. And that's where we get the
results.
Individuals that are moving on to the next round.
Yes, and then we can tell you who's going to be battling each other after this. So,
all right,
starting with the television. So on TV, we had Small Wonder versus Gung Ho.
Gung Ho.
Yep. Robot Kid versus the continuing tale of the automotive industry.
This was closer on social media than I wanted it to be. I own the number 1 seed here of Small Wonder. So I am.
And I have Gung Ho.
I'm worried.
So the question will be, will the Small Wonder use that super strength of hers to crush the competition, or will little Vicky get a long duck dong from that actor?
I'm going to get Gung Ho'd.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. So drum roll, please. And the winner. And this one was very close with 53% of the votes. Gung Ho becomes our first upset. Welcome, Gung Ho. Scott Bakula, moving on. Vicky has been decommissioned. They turned her off. They shut her down.
You just see Vicky slowly sinking into the lava, Terminator style.
Yeah. Ted Lawson made an android, and now, I mean, the only benefit
that sucks, man. So
don't to see Jamie Lawson's dumb face anymore.
53%. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was only a few votes that made separated the two, but people, I guess. The thing that's interesting about some of these, and I think we'll see it in other rounds as we move forward, is that there's some things that have the nostalgia effect. So the balance here is, if something is nostalgic, and even if it sucked, they tend not to vote for it because they don't think for them it sucked. I heard this a lot with another one we're going to see in a minute, but go ahead. Yeah,
I think there's something to that. I also think that it's the fact that Gung Ho wasn't on very long, and based on the ratings, and it
was terrible.
Nobody watched it, whereas a lot of people that I talked to watched Small Wonder, and maybe have even liked it at the time when it was on the air.
Did you watch it? Does it make it suck?
Of course, yeah. Of course
so I saw it too, and I think that's maybe part of what happens. Like
people are like, I loved Small Wonder. Well, yeah.
No, you didn't. If you actually really went back and looked at it again and watched it, you'd be like, this is terrible. Why would I?
Exactly.
This is good.
Yeah, it was because you were 12 when you watched it. That's why.
Exactly. All right. So
what's up next?
Next up, we have Out of This World versus Charles in Charge. A one-night stand that was out of this world, which consequently drove the alien sperm donor out of the universe, and Charles Salamander and his creepy shenanigans with stupid buddy.
And don't forget the non-appearance by Burt Reynolds.
Right. Burt Reynolds is like, take my name off this piece of shit.
Because it's funny if you go back and look at the trailer, and we'll put stuff like that in here, either in here or in the coming rounds or whatever. But I had put them on Instagram, and if you watch the trailer, once they get to like the voice of the cube, which is actually Burt Reynolds' voice, it just says like the character's name as himself. Like,
Meatmore. Yeah, it's like all right, yeah. It's Scrotula. It's Scrotula, the alien. It's a great.
Shit.
Yeah, it's right. Fucking he's still finding out those space cigarettes out there in the universe. So this was the so there was there were 2 lopsided victories, and then this is the next most lopsided victory of all of them. The winner.
It's got to be Charles in Charge.
No, by a
sweet.
long shot. But this is exactly what I was talking about.
Because people like Charles in Charge.
But do you guys know what he did? He was a piece of shit.
But he was in charge.
I guess so. Yeah, he was in charge of Nicole Eggert. Apparently, he's like, here, sit on my lap. Oh man.
Shit. I mean, I'm surprised, but like Charles in Charge, like I talk to people that have fond memories of watching that show growing up.
You know who has not fond memories of filming that show? Nicole Eggert.
And the kid who Scott Baio farted in his face all the time.
I'm telling you, man, we're definitely gonna have to break down that video. But he's like, it's sad, but it's also hilarious because he's like very upset about the fact that the pranks that he pulled on him are funny pranks, like they're jackassery. Yeah, like he's like, hi, he's like, I'm in my honey wagon, and fucking Charles Sandemer is sticking his dick in my window. It's pretty fantastic.
Charles and his salamander.
Ugh. All right. So next up, we have Life with Lucy versus My Two Dads. The Desi-less Lucille Ball working at Ace Hardware versus 2 closeted homosexuals that are trying to...
Come on, My Two Dads.
They're trying to remember to lock the basement door so their daughter doesn't find out why his name is Paul Reiser.
Oh, geez. Really?
Wow. Hey, why not? All right. So
you write this stuff? You take the time to write that?
No. Yes. Yes. That one I did. Yes. Because I thought that was Paul Reiser was pretty clever. It's terrible. God. Now in retrospect, I probably should have done it. All right. So this one was mighty tight.
Okay.
With a percentage of 52% of the total votes, your gay dads are moving on, my friend.
Yeah.
All right.
My 2 very hetero dads.
I guess I suppose that people remember Paul Reiser more than they do Lucille Ball. They're like,
or as I called it, dead slut mom.
Dead slut mom. Yes. She's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you. Both of you dumped load me, but you're going to have to figure this one out
because I'm going to die.
Bye-bye.
Oh shit. So
dropping off the building.
So who's meeting who?
All right. So we've got in the top bracket, we've got Gung Ho against Out of This World.
Okay.
Now, My Two Dads is going to be facing up with our next contestant here. We have one more.
Sorry, I thought
that's all right. She's the Sheriff versus the Hogan Family. 2 just dumbass concepts of shows.
Well, I think Hogan Family is going to lose because a lot of people watch Hogan Family. I watched Hogan Family. It's just, it doesn't make it any less
terrible.
I think I made it 6 seasons, if I'm not mistaken, but it was 3 different shows sewn together.
So this one also, I will say, was equally as lopsided as, or around as lopsided as Out of This World versus Charles in Charge. So the winner, with 69% of the votes, she's the Sheriff, is moving on.
Oh, yeah. I kind of figured that was going to happen.
This is good because now our TV bracket is me versus you and me versus you.
Oh,
Gung Ho versus Out of This World and My Two Dads versus
she's the Sheriff. Oh, so, man.
Will the Sheriff be near? We'll see.
Is the Sheriff going to arrest My Two Dads for sodomizing each other?
Possibly. So I figured that since the way that I figured we do it is since this is on the left side of the bracket, we'll just get music so we can see what's going to potentially go against each other. All right. So
whatever makes life easier.
All right. So music. We've got the first up is Milli Vanilli versus Starship.
Oh man.
So we got
There's no way Milli Vanilli lost this. There's no way.
So you may remember I mentioned something about the most lopsided victory between 2 different matchups.
Yes.
This was one of those matchups.
Yes.
And you are 100% correct.
There's no way.
Yeah, Starship got shot out of the sky. Milli Vanilli, you're moving on, baby.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
That's not surprising, though.
No.
I mean, come on.
No.
Milli Vanilli's terrible. And Starship's bad.
Yes. Yeah, none of that surprises me. I knew pretty much right away when you took Milli Vanilli as the first overall that what I picked as the 8 wasn't going to be able to top that.
That was going to be a tough one, man.
Yeah.
So tough mountain to climb, but yeah, and that mountain you certainly did not. No upset there. Now this one was pretty great. Bobby McFerrin versus Tiffany.
Oh, so I know how the social media was going, and it was not going well for Mr. McFerrin on the socials.
Well, when you say that, I think it's the opposite of what he would feel, which is if people think that I stink less, that would be good for me. Yeah, exactly. But Bobby McFerrin was in fact getting his ass kicked on social media, and things got a little bit closer when we got to the brackets in Facebook, and we had a pretty close matchup. But in the end, I think we're not alone anymore.
Tiffany with the upset.
Yeah, she is moving on. Bobby McFerrin is gonna fucking do his stupid mouth noises to nobody else. Your exposure to the world, Mr. McFerrin, has ceased again. Your dumb one-hit wonder can go into the ether. So
yeah.
I don't know. I really don't understand it. Like, and some people said, "Oh, I love that song." I'm like, I really hope that you get hit by a train. I swear to God.
It was so popular, so immensely popular.
It was terrible. It's still terrible. It's fucking awful, man. Really? That's what you want to fucking listen to? All right.
Yeah, that was really tough one for you to take there, but I was happy with my pick of Tiffany at the time, and she's moving on.
Tiffany, the upset special, and now we get to yet another lopsided victory. Winger versus Rick Astley. Now,
oh man,
I thought for sure Rick Astley was going to be rolling his way into the next round. God damn it. Yeah. There are two. I'll tell you this for your benefit. There are two of your picks that scared the shit out of me, and this is one of them. Winger. I didn't realize how many people hated Winger so much. Yeah, and this isn't not just this is
not just because of the concept of their song, fucking underage girls.
No, I would say this, that my shock was not in even just collecting the votes that you had sent me or getting the brackets in, but talking to people who said, "Oh, Winger, fuck Winger." Like, people hate Wingers. More than one person in the bracket has Winger going all the way to the fucking end. I'm telling you, Winger is terrifying. 69% of the votes, everybody hates fucking Winger. So Kip Winger is moving on. We'll talk more about stupid fucking Winger.
All right. So last and certainly not least, the 4 versus the 5.
New Kids on the Block versus Europe. Now, New Kids on the Block versus Europe. Is it going to be the New Kids final countdown? Maybe not. This one was, again, fairly close, and actually, in my opinion, closer than I would have expected, because I thought for sure this was going to be a landslide victory for the 2 seed. But it was closer than you think. Doesn't matter. Right. The kids are still on the block. But you got 3 of the 4 music, you cunt.
Yes. Hanging tough.
So you got Milli Vanilli versus Tiffany in the next round.
Yes.
And New Kids on the Block versus Winger, which is going to be I
have a prediction to make. It's going to be Milli Vanilli versus Winger. I promise you.
Well, based on the amount of votes for both of those, you would be right, because they were the most lopsided victories in the bracket.
I can't see it happening any other way, but we shall see. Stranger things have happened.
God.
Right?
And now a word from the sponsor of Stinko de Mayo, Slack Tide Brewing. Do you like beer? Of course you do, but not any beer will do. Absolutely not. The Dome Pieces are people of discerning taste that require a delicious craft beer to celebrate the joys of life or wash away the workday. Well, Slack Tide Brewing has just the tasty cold adult beverage you desire. Slack Tide Brewing was founded in 2015 by Jason and Ted Campbell, 2 brothers raised in Cape May County, New Jersey, where your delightful hosts also happen to be from. And their philosophy is simple. Create a diverse, high-quality line of beers made with all-natural ingredients, sourced locally whenever possible. And to make Slack Tide Brewing a destination in Cape May County where locals feel at home and visitors look forward to returning. Their beers have won multiple awards from the New York International Beer Competition, Philadelphia Brewvitational, GIBC MSC, and the Great American Beer Festival, just to name a few. Not only are their beers available in bars, restaurants, and distributors all across the great state of New Jersey, their beers are now available in the state of Pennsylvania. If you don't see it at your local watering hole, grocery store or beer distributor, you need to spread the word and tell them that they need to ride the tide. Slack Tide Brewing is currently located at 1072 Route 83 in Claremont, New Jersey, but will soon be breaking ground on a new 9,000 square foot facility on Route 9 in Swainton, New Jersey. Check out their website, slacktide.brewingco, that's co.com, and their Facebook and Instagram pages, Slack Tide Beer, for merchandise, current availability, and upcoming releases. And please, make sure to tell them that Digging in the Dome sent you. Slack Tide Brewing. Ride the tide. Must be 21 or older to drink. Please drink responsibly.
All right. So we're moving on to.
Let's get to fads and trends, and then we'll do.
No, let's say fads for last. Since that was the one that most people voted on.
So movies will be next. Then let's go to movies. So we've got Ishtar versus our friends Lewis and Gilbert.
Revenge of the Nerds too.
Yes.
So I was surprised by how many people reached out to me and were like, "What's Ishtar?" I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's largely regarded as one of the biggest box office flops of all time." But they were like, "I don't know what that is, but I know Revenge of the Nerds sucks."
Yeah. Well, interestingly,
at least the sequel.
Facebook and the brackets felt a bit differently than that,
right.
And so my number one seed in Ishtar is on 54% of the votes. 12 people in the brackets picked Ishtar to move on. So so people obviously remember it. You don't, and the people that you talk to.
Oh no, I remember it.
No, I'm saying like the people that you maybe.
Oh yeah, but
are a little bit like, what the fuck is that? And by the way, you shouldn't know what Ishtar is because Ishtar sucks. It was bad for a reason. It was panned for a reason. Nobody saw it because it was terrible and it should have been not watched.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So I remember you remember I may have mentioned the thing that scared me most was Winger up until this, because the hatred for this one was much more than I expected. And it's going up against a pretty big fucking baller. Right. Caddyshack 2 versus Howard the Duck. I thought for sure this was going to be like a down to the wire. Boy, was I wrong. Fucking Howard the Duck.
Crush.
People hate. When you said it, I was like, oh man, Howard the Duck stinks. And by the way, everybody agrees with you.
Yes.
Again, 60% of the people that voted were like, fuck the duck.
Oh man.
Nobody likes Howard the Duck. Caddyshack, and by the way, Caddyshack 2 is regarded as one of the worst sequels of all time.
Yeah.
One of the worst. It's a terrible movie, but still, the skunky stink of Howard the Duck.
You can't overcome how bad duck tits are.
Duck tits over fucking Jackie Mason, I guess. That's what we learned today. Wow.
Oh, Christ.
So
I'm very happy. I'm very happy to hear that, because Caddyshack 2 was pretty high up on your list.
It was a number 3 seed and worthy of a number 3 seed. Had they gone up against anybody else, maybe they would have won.
Yep.
But Howard the Duck clearly sucks. And everybody agrees with you that they suck. It sucks more.
Thank you. Well,
good for you.
Yes,
sucker. All right, now.
Well, I think a lot of it is like how much Marvel movies are so regarded, and how many people love the Marvel universe now, and like how everything played out with, just how wildly popular all the movies and TV shows and stuff are now. And that was a Marvel movie, and that movie was piss.
Well, let me tell you something. So, up until the brackets, this was a 2 vote difference.
Okay.
When we got to the brackets, different story. Everybody was like, "Fuck the duck. The duck sucks."
Fuck a duck.
We have so we do have some people, or at least one individual from the Slap podcast. Super Live Adventure podcast. Yes. John Zaluga decided to participate in Stinko de Mayo. He submitted a bracket, and Howard the Duck was definitely moving on. Yeah. Nice. So you know that there's they're gonna come on.
Done. Is that Baby Belushi?
Baby Belushi and no, Baby Belushi is Chris,
his partner.
No, right. And we'll make fun of this. I sent him the bracket, and he's like, "Dude, I don't know what to do." I'm like, it's a bracket. It's like March Madness, man. He just doesn't know. But John was like, I want to do this. So he got in. All right. So now we have Soul Man versus Teen Wolf 2.
Oh, man. See, so
go on. What were you going to say?
I cannot believe how close this was in the social media votes. I thought for sure, especially after I posted the trailer for Soul Man, that there was no way that anyone would vote for anything other than Soul Man.
Let me tell you something. I understand why that you think that.
Yes.
But like we're talking about blackface versus Wolfman, you know?
Blackface versus Wolfface, and Wolfface is worse. You guys are crazy.
Well, let me tell you something. And it wasn't by a little bit. The same distance between Caddyshack and Howard the Duck.
Right.
Teen Wolf 2 trouncing Soul Man.
That's ridiculous.
You people are fucking racist.
Yeah, exactly.
And you clearly, or maybe you're not racist. Man. Maybe because you like, I don't want to even move this thing along to win anything.
I agree. I would agree with your first statement.
All right. So
pieces
heard it here first. The dummies are racist.
You're a bunch of garbage people is what you are.
So here.
Right, so you have three. You have three of the four movies.
I've got Ishtar. No. Dude, what are you talking about? We still have one more left. Leonard Part 6 versus Superman 4.
How could I forget about
6 versus 4?
How could I forget about Leonard Part 6?
Cosby against Nuclear Man.
There's no way Leonard Part 6 will
lost. Yeah, you know what's funny?
There's no way.
Nuclear Man is only dangerous when the sun's up. Cosby's only dangerous when the sun goes down.
Yeah, exactly.
So this one was closer than the other contests that we were talking about, but still, you were right. Leonard Part 6. 6 is greater than 4, as we know in math. And it was certainly the case here. Cosby is moving on.
All right.
So now we've got Ishtar versus Howard the Duck.
Yep.
And we've got Leonard Part 6 versus Teen Wolf 2.
All right.
That's going to be a tough fight.
I still like Leonard Part 6 chances here.
People really didn't like Teen Wolf 2.
I know, man. It's bad. It's real bad.
It's terrible.
Teen Wolf 1 wasn't exactly an Academy Award-winning production in the first place.
You know, I was going to ask you, taking a break before we get into the last bracket here with the fads and trends. Are you watching The Offer?
The what?
The Offer?
Mm-mm.
It's on Paramount Plus. You have Paramount Plus, I assume?
I do.
Watch The Offer.
Okay.
It's fantastic. It's the story of the story of them making The Godfather.
Okay.
It's fucking brilliant. It's one of the best shows I've seen like in years. It's so good.
I have a literal stockpile of shows that I continue to back up for obvious reasons.
I don't know what other shows are in there, but fuck them and watch this. It's that good.
I'll add it to the list for sure.
Dude, the people they have playing Pacino and Brando are fucking brilliant. They sound exactly like them. They look like them. It's crazy. It's a well acted show. Giovanni Ribisi, who I feel like we've talked about before, is brilliant in this show.
Okay,
he's so good.
Awesome.
So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to gush over I'm watching it and I'm like, I literally like, I'm clamoring for the next episode. It's so good.
Awesome. I'll check it out.
Go watch that. Paramount Plus, you can pay us later. All right. So we have last, but certainly not.
Oh yeah. The fads
and trends. This was a very, very interesting bracket.
Yeah.
So our first is Big Teased Hair versus the Nintendo Power Glove. Now, the early returns were pretty even, right?
From what I saw on social media, they were, almost neck and neck.
Yeah, they were very close. And the end results weren't any different, only a couple votes difference. But we have our second upset. The glove. Keister. Bye-bye, Teased Hair.
That's garbage, man. There's no way people
53% of the people said the Nintendo. And let me tell you where the most votes came from. And I've got just evidence. So since you don't think there's shenanigans going on, a picture of the last vote. Facebook, by a mile, they said Nintendo Power Glove. And probably because there's a bunch of old motherfuckers up there.
Yeah, people
I think probably had that hair when they were young.
Yeah, exactly. So they feel bad about themselves, so they won't vote for it because they rock that shit. Like we know you were dancing a winger with your big ass hair at the fucking 8th grade dance. You fucking asshole.
Sorry, but you got the hair is being retired.
So two of my one seeds got fucking axed. That's harsh.
It's rough.
Harsh.
All right, now I mentioned a absolute trouncing and the second largest margin, or no, the largest margin of victory and the most votes cast total of all. Hammer Pants versus Acid Wash Jeans.
Let me guess. The Hammer Pants came in with the thunder.
If you thought Hammer wouldn't hurt them, you're incorrect. The Acid Jeans got smashed by a mile. 77% of the votes. Big, fat, deep dicking. Again, Milli Vanilli and Hammer Pants, two largest margins of victory by far.
I want to protest your choice of Hammer Pants.
Why?
Because MC Hammer's Please Don't Hurt 'Em Hammer was released in 1990.
That's not, but that's a song. Not when the actual pants made their way in, which was in our time frame.
It was. You
have been overruled.
1990.
You bald cunt.
1990.
Sorry, pal.
1990.
All right. Now, this one really made me nervous because you said something to me when we were talking that made me feel like I might lose this one.
Oh, the fanny pack
versus members only jacket, because
people rock fanny packs.
People rock funny. I just saw one today. I saw one today at the bus stop.
I'll tell you what, man.
I hope they got hit by the bus. I was about to kick him in front of it.
Colleen and I went to Disney for her 35th birthday, and I'll tell you what, she had an Adidas like waterproof fanny pack with her, and that shit came in super duper handy when we're like going on rides. You didn't have to put like a bag, like store a bag in a locker or anything like that.
Are you actually defending fanny packs right now?
I'm defending the use of that fanny pack in that particular situation. I can tell you what I wasn't wearing was a members only jacket at the time.
Yeah, nobody was wearing this.
Yeah, exactly.
So this one was also a fairly lopsided victory, and you're going to be disappointed because the fanny pack,
of course,
deep dicked the jacket.
Yeah. I mean,
fanny packs are terrible. I think that people know that universally. I feel like maybe in this circumstance,
I think they just have a bad stigma. That's all.
Yeah, and I think members only jacket. I think that there were a handful of people that knew what they were like, oh yeah, those are the worst. But people that didn't know what they were, they were like,
what the fuck's that?
Well, yeah, well,
that's why you're a member of a horrible club.
Exactly, one you don't want to be in.
Yeah,
if you see that picture, it's terrible.
You're gonna do bad cocaine at a fucking on a rented boat.
Rented boat. Yeah, that's usually the way it works.
All right.
So rounding out. So we've got shoulder pads versus.
Yeah, I don't even need it's shoulder pads. It's not even, we don't even need to beat around the bush here.
I mean,
it's like I knew shoulder pads.
It was closer than you think. It was fairly close.
Really?
55% of the votes. So where people really hated New Coke was in the brackets at Facebook. Like 75% of the votes from all the votes tabulated for New Coke came from Facebook in the brackets. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of people, again, to my detriment, a lot of people didn't even know what New Coke was because it was only on the market for 3 months, I think, before they realized the error of their ways.
This goes back to what we talked about before, though, if you remember. We talked about the fact that this is what we talked about with TV shows. If something is too obscure, and I don't think New Coke was too obscure, by the way. I just think that
it was humongous.
It's shoulder pads, which everybody knew what they were. The fucking Murphy Brown uniform. Everyone knew the fucking, So I think that was I'm not saying the detriment of you, but certainly what it did upend you at the end.
Yes, indeed it did. So break it down. I'm
going to break it down. So in fads, I'm cruising all the way to the final four because you have none. I got Nintendo Power Glove versus Hammer Pants. Which
I got none in the fads.
0. And I've got shoulder pads versus fanny pack. Yep, you lost that bracket all out, but you did get 3 of the 4 in music, and again, Winger is in there, and that scares the ever-loving piss out of me. And I'm telling you, Howard the Duck, like the amount of people that took Howard the Duck and got it all the way to the final was shocking. Like how many people really, really hate Howard the Duck was surprising.
So is there anything now that you, in retrospect, you can look back, is there anything that you wish that you had picked, you may have missed out on as far as like ones that
I wish that I didn't pick? How about that? Because I think that there's a couple that I think that I made a mistake on, and two of them that come to mind. Like I'm confident that, look, like I said before, Caddyshack 2 against pretty much anybody else probably would have won that round, but it went up against the unstoppable juggernaut that is Howard the fucking Duck. So like, there's no way I was winning that anyway, right? So that but one, like, no. But like Charles in Charge, I probably shouldn't have picked. Life with Lucy, I probably shouldn't have picked. Like, I could have picked other ones in that time period that may have like gotten people to. The amount of hatred for Out of This World was surprising, because I didn't even know that people.
Oh yeah, dude, that shit. That show.
Fucking hate that show.
Yeah, and it was worthy of that. I just meant like you had mentioned, and I can't remember. You had texted to me. There was some song from the late 80s.
Oh,
and you were like, "This is terrible." The Locomotion. Yeah. Yes. See, that's what I'm talking about.
If I would have picked Kylie Minogue, the Locomotion, which is maybe the worst song. I forgot how bad it was. It's like one of those things that, like, just similar to some of the memories that the topic randomizer has drudged up over time that you just got to bury away into your subconscious, like foul ball. I didn't remember that shit until we brought it up. I'm like, oh no, that's right. I was not a baseball player, even though I wasn't a baseball team. I was exploring the forest, trying to find like worthless balls because I was not good at anything else in that sport. So similar to that, like, I forgot about that song, and then Colleen mentioned it. I was like, oh God, that song fucking stinks.
Yeah, it's awful. When you sent it to me, I was like, ugh. Kylie Minogue.
What about you?
Well, I mean, since I got completely obliterated in fads, I would have to go back and, review my fads picks. But I think for fads, one thing I would definitely have included was jellies. The jelly shoes,
they're terrible.
The girls.
Yeah,
the most uncomfortable piece of shit fucking shoes that they paid for.
Yeah, jellies were terrible.
The other one was hacky sacks. How popular?
Oh my God, were those 80s?
Yeah, man.
No way, really? Oh yeah.
Well, like how when they were like, I mean, that was one of the reasons I didn't pick them, was because like you could attribute it to the 60s. You know what I mean? Just because like they were everywhere, but in the 80s they had a super duper like one of those, like, that span of resurgence. I
didn't think about
the other one too was that I was thinking of was like the ancient like home PCs, like
like the Texas Instruments
like Texas Instrument or Tandy, like anything you got from Radio Shack, basically.
Yeah, anything that was fused together. When the monitor and the hard drive and the keyboard were one piece, that's when you got a quality computer.
But like, oh, thanks for the Commodore 64. It's like, this thing sucks.
Oh, yeah, just doing the arrows, boop 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 boop.
And then again with the toys, fucking Polly Pocket. I remember.
Was that 80s too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Polly Pocket stunk.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But it was just like, oh, let's make this. That's like what's that stupid toy that your kids love? Do you have a million of them rotting away in your basement?
American Girl, maybe.
No. The little miniature things that they're like face on.
Fucking Shopkins.
Yeah,
oh, God.
That's basically.
You mean like, yeah, dude? I walked through my basement like fucking Bruce Willis did when the glass was shot out in Die Hard. So I'm like, my feet are bleeding because I'm stepping all over stupid Shopkins. I'm dragging myself to the staircase, trying to drag myself up. I'm like,
and then movies, Things. Do you remember Things? That was like 1989. That was
Things. I remember The Thing. I don't remember Things.
Things. So Things was like you brought up like Hobgoblin. Oh. It was like that. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was.
It's a Canadian independent direct-to-video horror film.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Boy.
Yeah. So again, like direct-to-video ain't gonna do me any favor. So
Things gained a reputation as being one of the worst films ever made. critics from the Beachwood Reporter, Dread Central, Cinema Sewer, which is always where you want to get reviewed. Worst film ever made. So, but then some people said it's so bad it's a good movie, but it's so terrible. I can't. Will Pfeiffer opined it's so terrible I can't think of any other movie that comes even close to worse. So there you
go. Yep.
Things.
Yeah, I mean it's tough when you look back and you're like, oh, I should pick this, or people will be like, oh, why didn't you take this? It's so hard to like quantify that, you know what I mean? Like because most of the time we're going off of memory with some research. Obviously some of the stuff like
this is not all like rote memory for us. I mean, we had to go back and like research like some of the, especially the TV shows. Like I didn't remember all that stuff.
I for sure remember watching I for sure remember watching Out of This World. I for sure remember watching My Two Dads.
Hogan Family, Charles in Charge, Small Wonder, all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely made the list.
But like, and Howard the Duck, of course. But like,
I mean, everyone apparently.
She's the Sheriff. I can honestly tell you, I never saw an episode of She's a Sheriff.
I think the concept alone that one carried that one past the Hogans because, and again, that's the tough part about doing this, and the tough part of like actually coming up with picks for this is that figuring out the balance of. Will they hate it enough to be able to push it through, or will the nostalgia? They have to know it. That's the one thing we talked about before. You have to know what it is, or it's not going to resonate with you. And you're like, I don't know what that is, so I'm not going to vote for it.
Yeah.
Or, is it terrible enough for me to be able to? And is it more terrible than the nostalgia of that particular thing that I grew up with?
Well, I mean, it's like, people love. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
But like when they killed off remember they changed Aunt Viv. Like
they're like, here's new Aunt Viv. It's like, wait, what? It's like it's like
it's supposed to suspend disbelief, I guess.
Uncle Phil's like, wow, you look different. Like, yeah, you don't look at all like you did before. It's weird.
Uncle Phil's like, all right.
He's like, this is new pussy. Uncle Phil. Oh.
Oh fuck! Well, another one in the books.
Yeah, this is good for you guys to move on and now start to vote for the next one, so we can get.
Yeah, so we'll start voting over the weekend, just like we did 2 weeks ago with these last ones.
Yeah, I think this will get released probably on Thursday or Friday, depending on how quickly I can get my act together. But most of the pre-production's done, so we can get this out pretty quickly. You guys can see the results, but just to run it back down.
Yes, do it.
So we've got Milli Vanilli versus Tiffany. New Kids on the Block versus Winger.
Oh man, so I hate that I have to match up two of my own against each other to potentially. Yeah, if I can't see New Kids losing to Winger. Or beating Winger. I just can't see.
I'm telling you, there's certain things when we do this tournament. The thing that's always surprising to me is the visceral hatred for some of our things that we picked. Surprisingly, my sister, who also filled out a bracket, by the way, said, "Oh, I like that show. I like that style." I'm like, this shows what fucking. This is not surprising to me. Sorry, Val. All right. So in the TV bracket, we've got Gung Ho against Out of This World, which should be a very tough matchup.
Yeah.
Sheriff versus My Two Dads.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping that the fact that nobody knows what She's a Sheriff will be to my benefit and not to my detriment.
Well, I mean,
we shall see.
If they look it up and they see Chrissy standing there in a fucking cop uniform, you're done. Fads and Trends, or as I like to call it, the Chris region.
Chris region.
The Nintendo Power Glove will try to fist its way into some Hammer Pants. Okay. And then, it'll be Fanny Pack.
You mean the Hammer Pants that came out in the 90s?
It did not come out in the 90s. You are incorrect. But I appreciate your commitment to disparaging.
Oh, yes, 100%. It's all I have left.
So I got you. No, dude, you're fucking cooking here. So Ishtar against I'm going to call it the unstoppable juggernaut that is Howard the Duck. I'm very nervous about that fucking duck. And Leonard Part 6 against the Wolf. Yeah, will be a good. I'm
confident in
old Cosby,
Bill Cosby's ability to put the wolf to sleep.
Yeah.
and then fuck it.
Take that, Jason Bateman. Take that, Todd.
Take that, Hogan family.
Todd Howard, whatever your fucking name is. Watch your way out of fucking sleepy time, bitch.
Did you watch the trailers that I put up for the TV shows?
Oh, dude, they're so bad. They're so fucking bad.
They're so cheesy. It's just like the action sequence into the then look at the camera and smile. You know what I mean?
Like, hey, like Todd, when Ted Lawson's building Vicky, he turns around like, yeah.
Ted Lawson's like sitting outside eating a sandwich on a curb.
What are you doing? Why you don't get to eat inside? You're an inventor. You made a robot.
Invent a table, you fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you sitting on a curb for?
Yeah,
You're homeless.
Exactly. Amish guy's laughing at him. He's sitting at his handcrafted table.
Shit. Well, good stuff, my friend.
All right, dude. Well,
as always,
everyone, we will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.